All right, hey guys, today is just an update on the AP exam. I sat through about an hour-long webinar, and then I read through all the information. So I think I've got all the information together and accurate, so that way I can present it to you in about a 15-minute presentation, just to give you a heads up on how things are going to go with the exam, and then how we're going to approach it going forward. The exam is May 21st, Thursday. All right, it will still be at 3 p.m. Central Time. Now, I had originally said there was going to be 2 dates. It's still true, but not 100% true in the way I interpreted it. So May 21st, Thursday. It will not conflict with any other exam. So if you've got AP Lang, if you've got AP Physics, however you got your schedule set up, it will not impact your ability to take the other exam. They might be back to back, but they're not going to overlap each other. Now, finally, that second date that I had talked about is labeled as a makeup day. So it's not like you get to pick between 2 days. It's a day just in case something goes wrong. Now, I'm going to highly suggest that you take it the first day, because being that there's going to be a lot of technology involved with this, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So take it May 21st, and then if something happens to go wrong in the process, you've got a second day to make up that problem that you encountered. So go for the May 21st. All right, now how is the exam going to be formatted? It is going to be an FRQ. In that case, it's not going to be that different than what we've been originally practicing. It's just no multiple choice. There are going to be 2 questions. Now I'll break down those in just a minute. It will be 45 minutes total time, and it will be taken and submitted online. And I'll talk about the options you have with that. All right, so question 1 is going to be 25 minutes long total, plus 5 minutes to submit it. It will be worth 55% of the exam, and it's going to be really similar to questions 2 and 3 of past exams. All the questions that we've looked at in the past, the 2 and 3, the short answer ones, it's like they're going to combine those 2 particular type of questions into one bigger question. Okay, so you're going to get a 2-part type question there. 25 minutes to do this shouldn't be too much of an issue. Second question is going to be very similar to our number 1 question. It's going to make up 45% of the exam. You're going to be given 15 minutes for this one question, plus 5 minutes to submit it like the other one. All right, it's comparable to question 1. So this is that longer question that usually starts by some sort of setup with a country being in a recession or producing at a level greater than full employment or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's more often than not the way that these questions are set up. All right, let's look at some broad changes that we have here. So the time goes from 60 to 45 minutes, not that big of a deal. Unit 6 has been completely removed from the exam, so no currency exchange rates, no financial and current accounts, none of that stuff will be on the exam. All right, we are going with this online submission. So you have a couple different ways that you can submit answers. You can type on the device or computer, whatever you're using. You can, write down the work, do your stuff on there, and then upload a picture of that work. All right. More information, including an actual simulation that they're going to give you, will be available in late April. So they'll have something set up so you can run through the process and experiment with actually submitting an exam just to see how that process is going to go. All right. Another big change, calculators are going to be allowed. Not that they were ever 100% necessary, because most of the exam questions were very, very simple. And in most cases, you got credit if you just did the formula, if you set it up properly, even if your answer was wrong. It's not a math test, it's an econ test, so they would give you the credit. So in this case, you can have the calculator there if it makes things easier, but you're still going to have to show your work if it says calculate. All right, now change in skill sets. Now, we've gone over several different skills that we've kind of applied to all the questions that we've been dealing with. First one, principles and models, define economic principles and models, interpretation, explain the given economic outcomes, manipulating stuff, determine outcomes of specific economic situations, and then finally graphing and visuals. So most of these tests, it appears, is all going to be about the interpretation and manipulation without the graphing and the visuals. We will not be submitting any graphs to in your answer. So you're not going to have to draw anything out. You're not going to have to manipulate, illustrate anything online. It will simply be, answers, wording, explaining what the graphs are doing as opposed to drawing the graphs. It's a little disappointing, but I think we can work with this. All right, next. It's not going to be so much about finding facts and formulas as it is applying them, all right? You're going to be applying these formulas, these models. How is the market for loanable funds going to respond to this? What will be the long-term effect? Not so much draw a model for loanable funds in equilibrium. You're going to have to do that next step, that higher level thinking to it, all right? And you will be able, they're not going to have cameras on you while you're taking this, so you're going to be able to search the internet if you want to. But the point is that they created this exam specifically with that in mind, that they knew you'd be able to do this, so your understanding is going to be much more valuable than Googling a definition or a model. They assume you have that, so they're going to go above and beyond that. All right, so you will not be submitting any of your models. All right, open book, open notes. This is the way it is. I know this is kind of an odd concept for an AP class, but this is the way that they're assuming you're going to be handling this. The notes can be created by a student. They can be classroom resources that I've issued you, that your teachers issued you, that you obtained somewhere. Anything that you can get basically is going to be usable. The assignments or assessments from class can be used on the exam. All right, they assume that you have all this information. So it'd be, ridiculous not to use it if you have it. The only kind of limitation that they put on this is it has to be accessed either, in hand through personal or school email, on a classroom site, like you can go to a Google Classroom and get everything you want from there, have it open on another device while you're taking this one, that's not a problem. But the online storage or whatever you're accessing has to be accessible only by the student. You can't have a group file that everybody's contributing to and everybody's accessing information from. All right, what do you need for this exam? All right, first off, you got to have online access. All right, so if that's a problem, you need to figure that one out. You need a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, Chromebook, desktop computer, anything that can run this website in order to get it done. If you're planning on writing out your answers and submitting it that way, you have to have some way to take a picture and submit that. However you want to plan for this, and like I said, they're going to have a simulation to make sure that you're ready for this. All right, so the ideal tool is a computer, a laptop, a desk, whatever you're using, just so you have that capability of typing if that's how you're presenting your answers. All right. If you don't have access and the school did not provide you with internet access with technology to do this kind of stuff, and you're stuck in that position right there, you can contact College Board, cb.org/tech, and submit some sort of request there, and they said they would be able to handle enough of these situations. But for the most part, I think we are all good. Okay, now, the next question that comes up is college credit. Is college credit still going to be awarded for this? Because we're doing it online, because the test is less than it was before, are they still going to accept exam scores, the 3, the 4, and the 5, are they still going to be accepted by the schools that used to accept them? All right, so a vast majority of higher education facilities have agreed to this. All right, they understand the situation. It's not like they're in any different situation right now. Colleges are finishing up their semester with online classes. Everybody understands what's going on. So it seems like all schools that originally accepted these will still accept them with the scores that they had originally put out there. All right, what kind of security are they going to have? All right, questions are written with security in mind. So they're not going to ask you a question that says define comparative advantage, because you can easily Google that, you can look that up, you can find it one way or the other. They're going to have you apply stuff. So thinking of more, the questions that had you shift curves and how the response was. How would the Federal Reserve or the government handle these sorts of situations with monetary and fiscal policy? What would be the right policy type? And what would be the impact of that? So we're going to be looking more at that kind of stuff. It's not anything you can search quickly. Everybody's taking this at the same time, at the same day, all over the world. So there's really not a whole lot of opportunity to post things online about what these questions are going to be. You're going to be taking the same guy at the same time somebody else is going to be taking in another country. All right, and they are going to have some plagiarism detection. So if you're getting answers from one of your friends, they're putting down the same answers, they're going to be able to identify that. If you copy and paste something from some site, they're going to be able to detect that. In addition to all this, to put us involved, the teachers involved with it all, they are going to send us your responses by May 26th, maybe earlier. This will take care of any problems, because if I identify you as a student that really isn't capable of that kind of work, I can submit a report and they can kind of ding you for, you know, cheating on the test or however it's going to be. So I have to confirm the student's ability. All right, next, during the exam, these are the things you cannot do. All right, you cannot communicate with anyone. You cannot crowdsource information. You can't get support from other people at all. And you cannot incorporate work of another person or technological service. So if you're asking Siri or Alexa what something is and you're verbatim copying that stuff down, that's going to get you in trouble. So, and please, if nothing else, do not copy and paste. Please. All right, what are the consequences? So these are the kind of the way that they worded the infractions. If you mirror content online, if you plan to cheat or share during the exam, even if there's stuff set up ahead of time, or if you gained or provided an unfair advantage, and they have evidence of this, these are the repercussions of that. They're going to cancel scores. They're going to contact high school teachers, administration, and probably the worst one is that they're going to contact the colleges. They're going to contact the schools that you wanted your scores submitted to. And if you took an SAT, if you took the SAT, which is also run by College Board, they are going to report it to those schools that you had your SAT submitted to. All right, you'll be prohibited from taking ACT exams, not ACT, SAT, AP, and CLEP exams in the future. And worst case scenario, they can inform law enforcement. All right, finally, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to proceed? What are we going to do to put you guys in the best situation possible? So I think the best plan, since we know it's open notes, is we have to create a test resource. Something you can use with the exam. It needs to be heavily organized. It needs to include models, formulas, and the key terms that you need, so you're not Googling anything, so it's right there, you know exactly where it is. You know, enough to have all the information we need, small enough so you're not digging around for it. So better than your notebook that you currently have. We'll create some guides, you know, model shifts. What curve's going to be shifting? What model are we using? How is this? How is that? What shifts it right? What shifts it left? You know, what is that chain of events, that cause and effect chain of events that takes place with everything? So you have it there so you can look at that, so you're not worried about those things, and you can just answer the question and interpret what's going on. Terms of trade, we'll kind of create a nice table for that, so you can just plug in numbers, because that one gets a little confusing, a little time consuming when it comes to calculating those opportunity costs and how to put them, where to put them, things like that. And we'll definitely have to have a list of the formulas and any key notes that you need to actually apply them. All right, in addition to creating this from here to May 21st, we're also going to continue with practice. And we're going to kind of get away from the multiple choice questions at this point for the most part, and focus on the FRQs. And focus mainly on the wording, because that's going to be the difficult part of this now. You're not going to be drawing models and shifting the curves. You need to know how to explain that shift. You need to know how to word these things correctly, because they're not going to be looking for labels on graphs anymore. They're going to be looking that the wording is proper. All right, so going forward, we'll try to start a daily routine where we're doing at least one FRQ, and then we'll kind of key in on one concept or something like that, where I've got a presentation for you and I got some sort of study guide. Now, this might not be a daily thing, but I'll try and get a few done every week just to keep up with this, and we'll kind of see how the first week goes. So, all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow with what's next. Enjoy your day.